Right now, I'm talking about not forcing it. And this could be, you know, something that you're dealing with. I know for myself, I've been dealing with feeling as if, you know, I need to make a video, or thinking as if, I gotta pressure myself, I gotta force myself to make a video, having these thoughts, being in a space where I'm doing so much things physically, or I'm preoccupied physically, where I can't necessarily get to making a video, or I feel like I have to force that video, and physically I may be exerted or physically exhausted from said action. And spiritually, it's as if I need to consistently do this exact thing, perhaps putting out a video, just to be on a spiritual path, where that's not necessarily the case. Having to remind myself that that is not the case and to not force it is something that I am bringing to you today, and also to myself when speaking it out loud and being able to recap and being able to say, don't force it. Good to be back. I haven't made a video in about a week, and I've been tending to things in the life and just living in life, taking care of what needs to be taken care of. But nonetheless, I am in the space that I am in now because I did not force anything. This is something that I have been, let's say, you could say I've been putting it off, but really I've been mentally taking a break in order to come back that much stronger. Physically, I've been putting in work in other areas, therefore I can take care of what needs to be taken care of. Therefore, I can come back and I can share my perspective and be in that place when it comes to physically, and be putting in that physical actions towards sharing my perspective. And as well as being able to emotionally take a break and be able to emotionally just be in a state of balance, in a state of relaxation, in a way where I'm detaching from all stressors when it comes to things that I'm dealing with emotionally. Therefore, I can come into a space and I can come into an emotional state that's more balanced, that's more ready for me to, start this new process, start my next era of videos, start my next process. What am I aiming for? You guys saw, or if you haven't seen, check out my community post where I said that we had just finished out a season of expansion, and see where you are aiming to be when it comes to mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, in terms of not only just the present moment, but in terms of the future coming moments that we're going to be going into 2024. Where do you aim to be? And so just check that out. And in regards to not forcing anything, do not force something that mentally you think that this is going to put you in a worse place when it comes mentally. Do not force things that can possibly have the ability to put you in a worse place when it comes to physically. Don't force things that could put you in a bad or worse place when it comes to forcing something emotionally. Don't force things when it comes to forcing things as far as putting in some spiritual work, forcing something as far as spiritually. Let things flow. In regards to feeling as if you need to force something, I would say you shouldn't feel that pressure to force it. Of course, on the other hand, there's going to be times where you need to force things when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually in your life. And that's going to be up to you to use your own intuition to be able to say, okay, I need to force this. Okay, I shouldn't force this. So being able to know and being able to realize, like, mentally, I don't have to force this right now. I'm going to step into a different mental space. Physically, I don't have to force this right now. I'm going to step into a different physical space, or have different physical actions. Emotionally, I don't have to force this right now. I can give myself a rest and a break from feeling this type of way, or, using my emotional state of being in these certain ways, or whatever that may be, and not having to force it. I can put off, let's say, certain things that I tie into, okay, boom, I'm on my spiritual path. I can maintain being on my spiritual path even when I'm not forcing things, even when I am taking a brief space away from whatever that may be, realizing, having the perspective of, okay, when I'm not forcing things, I'm not going to be hard on myself, I'm not going to be difficult, and I'm going to realize that I'm still on my path of becoming greater when it comes to mentally. I'm still on my path of becoming greater when it comes to emotionally. I'm still on my path of becoming greater when it comes to physically. I'm still on my path when it comes to being greater as far as spiritually. And that's something that constantly goes. It's something that if you're dealing with something as far as mentally and you think you need something right now or it's as if you need a certain thing to help you out when it comes to mentally, don't force getting rid of that thing just because you think all else will fail if you don't go through with it. If you need something to, make you more mentally balanced or whatever that may be, don't force just shutting it out. Be able to have a perspective of taking it easy, going with the flow and dealing with, okay, I'm going to not mentally be so dependent on that thing, but I'm going to see, how does this help me? How does it hurt me? Therefore, I can know, do I need to force this? Is this something that I should force, or is this something that I shouldn't force? When it comes to physically, any of your actions that you're going and dealing with, don't be so hard and go with the flow when it comes to your actions, when it comes to things such as forcing things and not forcing things. When it comes to the actions, you can constantly make change. It's going to be something that you can work on a constant basis. So why not go through with that? Why not go through the flow, go with the flow when it comes to physically and not force things? And when you do need to force things when it comes to physically, then you can be in that power and say, okay, I've been already dealing with things that I have been going with the flow with. Now I need to step into forcing things. Now I need to put forward more actions when it comes to physically. And as far as emotionally, when it comes to, not forcing things as far as emotionally, give yourself that space, give yourself being able to exist in that emotional state of being without so much pressure. Therefore, you can apply that pressure and you can apply that force, or you can then force things after being in a redacted state of having that emotional independency and that emotional freedom to experience whatever it is that you would like to experience. And when it comes to spiritually, do not force things. You're going to have to go through things, and you're going to be growing spiritually through every experience that you go through. So you're already going with the flow when it comes to spiritually, naturally, and so you do not need to force things. Don't feel like you have to force things just because they are appearing a certain way. Don't feel like you have to force and do certain spiritual things because you're thinking a certain way mentally. Don't think you have to force certain spiritual things because you're, in a certain physical state or a physical space or dealing with certain things as far as physically. Don't feel like you have to force being spiritual or force anything spiritually in terms of the way that you feel or whatever that may be. You are always spiritual as long as you are being in your power of being a strong spirit, of being a powerful being. And when it comes to anyone that's out there going through things when it comes to mentally, going through things when it comes to physically, spiritually, and mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, nonetheless, stay strong on your path, continue on growing, continue on being strong. We're moving into 2024 here. Not that the year matters or whatever. It is just a number at the end of it all. And in terms of those who I know are going through it, stay constantly strong on your path. You got to stay protected no matter what it is that you're dealing with. You got to stay in your power no matter what it is that you're dealing with. So stay protected physically, stay protected emotionally, stay protected physically, and absolutely stay protected as far as spiritually. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.